High in the frozen peaks of mountains, elite climbers Sasha and Tommy are trapped in a violent storm, forced to survive on the edge of a cliffside camp. Sasha is strong-willed and full of determination. She never gives up, always pushing toward the summit even when the mountain pushes back. But her intense drive sometimes makes her overlook danger, which is why Tommy remains by her side, calm, cautious, and focused on survival rather than victory. Partway through their climb, the weather turns against them once more. The skies darken, the winds roar across the mountain, and the once steady terrain becomes hostile. Forced by the worsening conditions, they are left with no choice but to stop and wait. Back at camp, Tommy warns that luck never lasts forever. He clutches his lucky compass, something he has always trusted, but now it suddenly fails him. The silence that follows unsettles him, and he admits his fear, apologizing for doubting their situation. Sasha, however, pushes forward, urging him not to rely on luck but on skill and trust between them. With the storm growing stronger, they decide to head back down the mountain, making a promise to each other that they'll come back and conquer the peak of the mountain when the weather clears. Suddenly, disaster strikes. A massive boulder breaks loose and crashes down the cliffside, hitting Tommy and knocking him unconscious, threatens to drag Sasha off the cliff face. Sasha fights to hold on as the cliff edge begins to give way. In a desperate moment, she realizes she cannot save them both. With the mountain collapsing beneath her, she makes a painful decision. She releases the rope. Tommy falls, vanishing into the white darkness below, as Sasha is left stranded on the brutal cliffside of the mountain. 5 months after the tragedy in Deadly Mountain, a grieving Sasha travels alone through the vast wilderness in Australia, carrying only Tommy's lucky compass, her last link to him and the past she can't escape. As she drives deeper into the remote landscape, a ranger warns her about a string of mysterious disappearances in the area. The warning lingers, but Sasha continues on. At a gas station, she is harassed by a group of hunters, their behavior unsettling and aggressive. Before things escalate, a local man named Ben steps in. Friendly and calm, he offers her help, even giving her directions to a secluded campsite, selling homemade jerky along the way. That night, the wilderness feels anything but safe. As Sasha settles down for a quiet meal at the campsite, the same hunters suddenly appear and harass her again. Terrified and completely alone, Sasha spends the night locked inside her car, waiting for them to leave with no idea who she can trust. The next morning, she pushes forward and kayaks through fast, dangerous rapids, trying to put distance between herself and the growing unease. Exhausted, she sets up camp overnight. Morning come, suddenly snapped awake by a scream echoing through the forest. As she checks her surroundings, she found out her bag is gone. Disoriented, Sasha follows the sound and stumbles upon Ben's camp. He greets her warmly, offering food and supplies as if nothing is wrong. When she tells him about the harassment at the gas station, he dismisses it, claiming the hunters weren't trying to harm her, just testing her. His words grow stranger, more personal. He insists she is special, comparing her to his mother. Sasha's gut feeling turns to absolute terror as Ben accidentally breaks character, letting too much slip. Sensing the danger, she tries to walk away, only to realize he has taken her bag. The friendly guide was never just a helper. He has been watching her all along. Ben returns her backpack, but the mask fully breaks. He reveals a crossbow and a boombox, telling her coldly that she has until the end of a single song to run. What he calls a game is something far more dangerous. Realizing her life is on the line, Sasha wastes no time trying to make sense of it. She just runs. The wilderness quickly becomes a deadly hunting ground. Driven by pure survival instinct, Sasha races toward the river, but the powerful rapids soon sweep away her kayak. After barely making it to shore, she searches desperately for a safe escape route. Then, faint voices drift through the trees. It sounds like a nearby family, offering a glimmer of hope. But as she follows the sound, she realizes it is nothing more than a recording, carefully placed to lure her into a trap. Before she can even process the deception, an arrow slices past her face, missing her by mere inches before embedding itself deep into the trunk of a tree. Her heart drops. She looks up through the brush, and there he is. Ben is close, and the hunt has officially begun. Panic drives Sasha back into the raging river as Ben continues the pursuit through the forest, using the terrain like a predator that knows every path. Barely surviving the rapids, Sasha drags herself onto land, shaking but alive. She checks what remains in her backpack, then begins climbing toward higher ground, scanning the mountains for any possible escape route, while knowing the hunt is far from over. After hiding deep inside a ravine, Sasha makes a risky decision. Instead of fleeing, she circles back through a different route toward Ben's camp, planning to steal his canoe and escape the wilderness for good. But her plan turns against her. She steps into a bear trap, clamping down hard on her leg and sending pain through the silent woods. Before she can free herself, Ben arrives and captures her. Trapped and furious, Sasha struggles against her captor. As darkness falls, Sasha finds herself tied to a tree. She demands to know what kind of game he is playing. But Ben's answer is calm, hauntingly steady. He insists it is not a game. It is a ritual. He speaks like a man passing down a belief, saying rituals are necessary because they ground people and remind them of who they are. By morning, Ben forces Sasha onto the river. They travel together in a canoe, the current carrying them deeper into the wilderness. Sasha, weakened but alert, asks where he is taking her. Ben does not answer directly. Instead, he reveals something worse. He has been studying her since she registered at the ranger station, calculating her every move and choice. Then, he turns the conversation toward Tommy, questioning Sasha about his death, probing into details as if searching for something hidden beneath her grief. Ben suddenly shifts the moment of conversation into violence. Without warning, he shoves Sasha toward the rushing river, triggering a violent plunge into the hidden terrain below. The current carries them into a concealed cave system, where the wilderness opens into something far more disturbing. Trapped underground, Sasha is about to face the gruesome reality of who Ben truly is. Inside the cave, Ben chains Sasha up surrounded among grim evidence of his past victims, remains of missing hikers, travelers, even the family from the recorded lore. The cave is not just a hideout, but it's a makeshift slaughterhouse of his victim. Ben finally admits his true nature. He is a ritualistic cannibal who transforms his prey into preserved meat. With a sickening lack of remorse, he proudly calls it jerky, coldly admitting he even subjected his own mother to the exact same fate. Sasha is horrified, finally understanding the depth of his sickness. In a burst of survival instinct, she bites off part of Ben's ear and breaks free, still partially shackled as she escapes into the cave's darkness. But Ben is relentless. He pursues her through the terrain, and the chase spills toward a roaring waterfall. In the chaos, Ben is suddenly trapped against the jagged bedrock. Sasha struggles with his restraints, trying to break free while also fending him off. But Ben overpowers her, nearly strangling her to death. Sasha gasping for breath, she claws at the ground, grabs a rock and strikes back with desperate force, severely injuring him and breaking his leg. Now stranded together in a remote canyon, exhaustion and delirium set in. In a fragile moment of clarity, Sasha admits the guilt she carries over Tommy's death, her voice breaking under everything she has survived. By morning, a tense and uneasy arrangement forms. Ben is badly injured and cannot climb out alone. Sasha is still shackled and unable to ascend freely. Survival forces a temporary truce. Ben unlocks her restraints so she can climb, but to ensure she does not escape or abandon him, he tethers himself directly to her climbing harness. The threat is constant. Any attempt to break away could pull them both to their deaths. As they begin the dangerous climb out of the canyon, Sasha sets up a prusik not to help Ben pull himself upward. Every inch of the ascent is exhausting, pushing both of them to their limits. Injured and desperate, Ben focuses entirely on dragging himself higher, unaware that Sasha is carefully planning her escape. As they continue climbing, Sasha sees an opportunity. While Ben is focused on pulling himself up the cliff, she quietly slips out of her climbing harness, carefully freeing herself from the system that has kept them connected. Seconds later, the rope system loses its anchor. He plummets all the way down the canyon to his death. Sasha watches in silence, finally free from the man who turned her journey into a nightmare. But her fight for survival isn't over yet. She must finish the rest of the climb using only her bare hands and determination. Driven by pure survival adrenaline, she successfully pushes through the terror, reaches the top of the canyon, and escapes. Upon reaching the top of the canyon, exhausted and emotionally drained, Sasha is eventually rescued by passing travelers deep within the wilderness. She returns to the ranger station and reports everything she has endured, leading authorities to Ben's hidden site, where the remains of at least 20 victims are discovered, confirming the full scale of his horrors. Days later, Sasha stands quietly at the shoreline, facing the vast ocean before her. She holds Tommy's lucky compass for the last time. After everything she has survived, she quietly says her goodbye. Without hesitation, she throws it into the waves, watching it sink beneath the surface. As the ocean swallows the compass, Sasha gazes at the sun, its golden rays washing over her like a sign that she has finally survived. And that's the end of this movie. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and comment below. As a new creator, your support means a lot and helps this channel grow. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next recap. Stay safe, and remember, escaping danger is one thing, escaping the past is another.